me, I'm Jose.
And we're your token theater friends, bringing a POC perspective to the performing arts. We have an amazing interview for you today. Who do we talk to?
Today we're talking to William Jackson Harper. You might know William from his work as Chidi and Agonie in The Good Place, but he's also a stage actor and a fantastic playwright. He wrote a play called Travisville, which is based on a true story about displacement and gentrification around the time of the civil rights movement. Travisville recently opened at Ensemble Studio Theater, so let's go check that out. Thank you for joining us, William. I saw Travisville over the weekend and it just fucking blew my mind. And the first thing that I was like, when do you have time to write a play?
I wrote the first draft of Travisville years ago. I was with DST up in Southampton. They had this sort of developmental thing that they would do over the summer, and I was up there as an actor, actually, working on another piece, and there were some writing workshops, and I just, just kind of stuck my head in, and, I had been kicking around an idea for a while. I was like, well, let me just see if I can, just get a couple of things on paper and see how it feels. And so that was the germ of the idea, I guess, at this point, 8 years ago.
Wow.
So it was, and then, we did a reading the following year, and then we've just sort of been slowly doing stuff with it when it fits into everyone's schedule.
Many of our viewers know you from The Good Place, where you play Chidi Agonie, who's a philosopher who can never really make up his mind.
Yeah.
And the central dilemma in Travisville made me think this would drive Chidi insane.
Yeah.
And I wonder, how much do parts you've played on stage or TV shows inform what you're writing as a playwright?
I guess when it comes to the parts that I'm playing, I'm not ever thinking about the project that I'm writing. I'm just enjoying being able to sort of exercise whatever less than noble impulses I have, and just sort of be unencumbered by my own morality and feelings and stuff, and sort of just really latch on to what this character is and what this character wants, and so I'm never really thinking about it in terms of when I'm on stage, but I think that as far as writing this play, I think that it's been a lot of years of a lot of things happening. I feel like a lot of ugliness has sort of reared its head, and it feels like we're 50 years in the past, and so I just sort of, those sort of things sort of keep popping up, and sort of just really, I get to be in my bonnet about it, and then it kind of goes into the play.
What has the process been like of just not being able to escape the outside world with this work? Or is it your way of working through it?
It's sort of my way of working through it. I feel like I am angry. Mm-hmm. And I'm frustrated, and I feel like, there's a conversation that's being dragged out of the realm of what's reasonable to making concessions toward, an irrational tribalism. And I feel like with the conversation being dragged that way, I have to just sort of look, there are certain empirical truths that we have to adhere to. And when those things are up for debate, or it becomes a matter of opinion, then I feel like I have to exercise that. I have to let that out. And so there's actually certain things in the play that I wrote before the current political climate sort of became what it was, and the current political climate became what it is, and which is just sort of, I was like, there's no way that this will actually sort of be relevant in a few years, there's no way that it will, but sadly it kind of is.
We like to play a little game with our guests sometimes, and for you, we wanted to do something called The Good Place or The Bad Place, Theatrical Edition.
All right.
So I'll say some things, and you'll tell me if They belong in the good place or the bad place.
Okay.
Yeah. Tech Week.
Tech Week. Oh man. You know what? This is the weirdest thing. I kind of like Tech Week.
See, I told you there are people who like Tech Week.
I kind of like it.
It's a weird thing.
It's a weird thing. I mean, like I like just because it's I think that's when as an actor you sort of like you become just bonded to the rest of your cast in a way that you just aren't. It's just like oh yeah, we're in this together, and it sucks for a while. So it's like something about that commiseration and misery is just kind of great.
Phones going off in the theater.
Bad place. Bad place. Turn it off. Just be in the room. Turn it off.
Or you'll throw across the room like Patty LuPone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's great. That's great. That was great. It's like, turn it off. Just turn it off.
Something that I really loved about Travisville was it made me think so much of the way in which James Baldwin balanced that, like rightful anger, because people of color should be angry, like we should be angry.
Yeah.
But also there's so much love and joy in Travisville. And as an artist of color, how do you balance that? How do you find, like the right way to not let just like the anger or like the love, outweigh each other?
I don't know. I mean, like, I sort of feel like I was leaning more into just really trying to really just express sort of my truth of being, a black man and having to sort of listen to people negate your humanity as a viable opinion or point of view, and so like really like that. But there's no way that I can express that without some kind of humor, without some kind of joy, because otherwise I'm just gonna be an angry, inarticulate mess all the time. And here's the other thing: it's like I feel like in my family in particular, and in my community, I think that there is a wryness and a sort of humor that comes from like, well, how motherfuckers can be, it's like, and so I think that's important. It's like sometimes you just have to laugh it off, and you have to just sort of allow yourself to be angry and biting and acerbic, and it's one of the things that I feel like people in my family do when they're saying something really, really biting. Sometimes it's incredibly funny. And something there is a lot of pain behind, that's sort of swept aside in favor of, something very acerbic or a really witty joke that sort of acknowledges that truth, but also allows us to laugh. And so, like that's what I'm trying to do. I feel like and I hope I do it, but sometimes I watch the play and I read the play and I'm like, oh, I'm an angry man, and I think it's okay, but yeah, it's like, but yeah, I hope it comes across. I'm glad it came across to you that way.
Okay, so good place or bad place? Entrance applause for celebrities.
Bad place. Bad place. Like, just let people be in the world. It's so corny. I hate it. I hate it.
Audience talkbacks.
I think I gotta say bad place. I prefer not to do those.
Okay. So are we doing any audience talkbacks?
I don't know. I might be forced into one, but I mean, I hopefully not.
Can you share when was the first moment that you saw yourself represented on stage, on television, or film?
First time I saw myself represented. Okay, the first show that I saw with a person that felt like that I felt a kinship towards. I was watching this production of Macbeth in Dallas, and there's this actor Billy Eugene Jones, who he's in New York now, and he works a lot. He's like one of my favorites that I've ever seen, and he was playing Macduff, and it was it was a pretty multicultural production. But I just remember watching him and just being like, wow, it's really cool to see like a young black dude playing a major role in a Shakespeare play, and just sort of the world feeling like way more wide open at that moment, and the fact that he was just so good, was like that sort of woke things up for me and shifted things.
Okay, final round. So Stephen Sondheim recently said that he doesn't care if white people play Latinx people in West Side Story, because actors should be able to play anything. So does Stephen Sondheim now go in the good place or the bad place?
Oh man, you know what? We gotta teach him. We'll correct his path, and we'll get him into the good place eventually. I just think that that's a pretty look. I think he's an amazing artist, and his contributions far outweigh that one comment. But we'll fix him. We'll help him. We'll guide him.
We'll guide him. We'll guide him.
We'll just guide him. Just like put him on the right path.
Okay, last one. Theater critics.
I get angry with critics, obviously. I feel like as an artist, I feel like I'm supposed to have an adversarial relationship with them. So I have to say bad place, because if I say good place, I don't think that doesn't feel right either. I kind of feel like I feel like they're right like medium. There's like because it's like sometimes people like write these reviews and they're just completely way off base, and then sometimes people write reviews that allow you to think about things in a way that perhaps open you up to the piece a little bit more. So I don't know. But then again, I'm just like, I don't think everyone needs to know my opinion about anything. And so, like, I feel like, it's like, why does your opinion matter? It's like, so.
And yet, you're here.
And here I am talking a lot.
It was wonderful. Thank you for talking. We enjoyed it.
Oh, all right. Thanks. No, thank you.
Jose, does this go in the good place or the bad place? Lady Gaga in Funny Girl on Broadway, rumor has it.
A bad place. She should not mess with Barbara.
She's gonna do all of Barbara now. She's gonna do Yentl. She's gonna do Funny Lady. Hello, Dolly.
Stop, Gaga, stop. On the podcast this week, we are going to discuss 3 plays, so check that out. You can subscribe to that on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Or if you like just watching our faces and watching us interview people, then you can subscribe to Token Theater Friends on YouTube, and you get notifications when we post up new videos. Thank you for watching us, and remember, theater's more fun when you take your friends. Bye.